Talk to us about what applications will be built through this.
Sure. So 4 years ago, Cloudflare launched our edge computing platform, which we call Workers. And what Workers allows is any developer anywhere in the world to write code and deploy it across all of Cloudflare's network, which today spans more than 200 cities, more than 100 countries worldwide. What we announced with Nvidia today is that we're going to be adding their GPU processors, which is a special kind of chip that makes artificial intelligence tasks easier and faster and more powerful across that. What that means is if you're building smart doorbells or you're building any type of device which today may not have the power in and of itself to run advanced artificial intelligence on it, now that artificial intelligence can be within a few milliseconds on the network itself, powered by both Cloudflare and Nvidia.
How do you think it helps not only you from a sales perspective, but does it help Cloudflare continue to protect from a cybersecurity perspective across all its platforms? How are you thinking in that respect?
So we've always used artificial intelligence and machine learning at Cloudflare in order to automatically identify threats and security and other challenges. And we've used a number of different GPU vendors, including Nvidia, in order to power that intelligence behind the scenes. What's unique about what we announced today with them is that that same ability that we've had as a company, we're now making available to any developer anywhere in the world so that they can make their devices more powerful. And yeah, I do believe that there will be applications for developers to build specialized and enhanced security on top of our existing platform.
Talk to us about the security landscape right now, Matthew. And you know, we've got people starting to see the end in sight of a pandemic, starting to return to work. Of course, work from home has put a lot of pressure on corporate cybersecurity efforts. Is the landscape getting a little easier, or is that just never going to be the case?
You know, I think that there are a number of things which are going on. The first is, I don't think any company is ever going to be completely the same after the pandemic as they were before. We've all learned a whole new set of skills, and it's impossible to put the genie back in the bottle. And so I think employees are going to demand more flexibility. And so while there will be different companies at different points in the spectrum, I think that there is going to be much more remote work. And that means that there are different challenges to security. You can't rely on just all of your employees coming into the metaphorical castle and surrounding it with a moat and assuming that you're going to be safe. It's a much more complicated landscape. At the same time, I think we at Cloudflare and a number of other great companies are really pioneering the zero trust efforts in order to make sure that no matter where you are, anywhere on the network, it's almost like you will be secure no matter what. And so we think of it as almost being like bulkheads in a ship, so that if there is some new vulnerability, like today we heard about new vulnerabilities in the Microsoft Exchange server, which were released by the National Security Administration, if those get released, and somehow you have one application compromised on your network, it doesn't compromise the entire ship. And so I think that sort of change is a real sea change, which is compensating, in fact, more than compensating for the increasingly complex environment in which companies find their employees working from.
Of course, cybersecurity, not the only security issue for many players out there. In your space, we're seeing, well, supply chain insecurity. We're seeing the impact on chips in particular. Has that in any way affected your business? How do you see it playing out from the industry perspective?
It's been a really challenging last 12 months from a supply chain perspective. I think and I'm very proud of our team for getting in front of some of the shortages and some of the supply chain issues that are out there. We have always optimized around what we think of as effectively just-in-time delivery, where we're able to stockpile various components in locations around the world and build out our network as it's needed. But it's been complicated for two reasons. One, because you are seeing these shortages of equipment and supply, but then two, because we've just had an unprecedented level of demand. If you go back 12 months ago, our team was sitting staring at screens as we watched internet usage around the world almost double. And we needed to make sure that our network held up and was able to keep things online. I'm proud that our team has been able to do that. I'm proud we've been able to stay in front of these shortages, and I think we'll be able to continue to do that going forward.